Why is socialism considered evil in America? Socialism is a political and economic theory advocating for collective or government ownership and control of the means of production, distribution, and exchange of goods and services. It aims to reduce economic inequality and promote social welfare through various policies, like progressive taxation, universal health care, and public education. Why is it considered evil in the U.S.? 1. Historical context. During the Cold War, the United States was engaged in a long-standing ideological and geopolitical rivalry with the Soviet Union, which was a communist state. This led to a strong anti-communist sentiment in America, and socialism was often associated with communism. 2. Fear of government overreach. The U.S. has a strong tradition of individualism and capitalism, with a belief in limited government intervention in the economy. Socialism, which often involves more government control, is often seen as a threat to personal freedom and free market capitalism, as well as a slippery slope towards authoritarianism. 3. Misunderstanding and ignorance. There often are misconceptions and misunderstandings about what socialism actually entails. Many associate it with extreme forms like totalitarian communism, even though there are various forms of socialism with different degrees of government intervention. Many countries in Europe, for example, operate within a mixed market economy, combining a free market capitalist system with extensive social welfare programs. No one here is providing real answers. Socialism is an umbrella term used to describe social ownership of the means of production. Social ownership can include common ownership, state ownership, or collective ownership. Communism falls under socialism. It advocates for common and collective ownership of the means of production and a complete abolition of class. Communists also typically believe it is inevitable as per historical materialism. Americans hate it because of the Cold War and the Red Scare. You're welcome. Ignore the rest. The Americans that identify socialism as a problem can almost never accurately describe what socialism is, or whether things like Social Security are socialist or not. Many low-education Americans are simply taught buzzwords that are opposed by their political team, and react out of loyalty, without any critical thought. If you hear this from someone, ask them what socialism, woke, CRT, Antifa, regulations, etc. Ask them to define what those things are. You will either get a definition that has no relationship to the dictionary, or silence. People think it's the same as communism. Propaganda. Straight up fear-mongering their whole life. In the 50s they had the Red Scare here where they locked up communists. They also made socialism equal to communism, which goes against capitalism. Pretty much just F-King brainwashing of our earlier generations. Americans love socialism. Medicaid, Medicare, the highway system, airline regulations and NHSTA, disaster relief, national parks. Everything that is socialist in the U.S. tops the list of most beloved institutions. Except the DMV and public education, but that's clearly because they are massively underfunded. Single-payer healthcare would make Americans so happy. The only reason they don't do it is that the president who gets it done would be re-elected for life. Americans are, by and large, an individualistic people. We are taught from an early age that we are responsible for our own good and that we need to pick ourselves up by our own bootstraps. As such, socialism is seen as the great evil, because we see it as relying on the government or someone else to take care of us. There's also the fact that many dictatorships have used the ruse of communism and socialism to demean, subjugate, and ultimately murder their people. This fact alone does not make communism evil, but it does make Americans see communism, and, as a result, socialism, as evil. Americans have been conditioned to fear and hated anything that isn't purebred. Free market capitalism via fearmongering and propaganda. The Cold War, it was used to keep America scared. Because the US is one of the most propagandized countries on the planet. Socialism is evil because it attempts to redistribute the wealth that the 0.1% has been taken away from the 99.9%. That 0.1% owns much of the media that the rest of us consume, so they can promote the socialism is bad rhetoric while promoting trickle-down economics as the way forward. Basically, if it hurts billionaires and helps everyone else, it is bad. America is controlled by capitalism. Capitalism is directly opposite by socialism. Therefore, America purposely spread misinformation about socialism to make sure no one choose it. Note that socialism is not perfect, but many aspects of it, union, healthcare, directly challenge the power of capitalism. There are no examples of any pure economic system ever working. Americans love to say they are capitalist, but the bailouts, special interest groups, subsidies, etc., belie this notion. Democratic socialism as practiced in Scandinavia seems to be one of the more successful forms of government in terms of creating a happy, healthy populace. Many will argue that its success is largely due to the homogeneous nature of their population. I am from Norway and most hate socialism here. Social democracy is a big thing, but it is not socialism. Socialism has turned into communism and dictatorship and government abuse over and over again. Social democracy is based on capitalism, but taxes and a large welfare state makes sure to distribute the wealth from capitalism so everyone gets healthcare, education, etc. The Nordic countries level the playing field so anyone, no matter who you are, who your parents are, how rich or poor you are, etc., can succeed. But the government will level the playing field, making sure people with disabilities or healthcare problems, etc., has the same chance of getting a successful life if they are willing to work hard enough like everyone else. Because socialism is a failed economic theory that leads to financial ruin. Because a lot of people have been convinced that very wealthy people becoming more wealthy will eventually benefit them. The government directly helping them, though, will ultimately hurt them. Also, a lot do people, particularly trades guys, have some weird view of work. Like they think it's a flex to say they work 80 hours a week every week and never see their family and have 5 different chronic health conditions that aren't being treated because they don't have time or money to go to the doctor. Definitions of socialism vary greatly. Some consider it social spending, while others see it as the antithesis of capitalism. Social spending with moderate to high taxes among all classes in a very capitalist environment is what Nordic countries have. This doesn't tend to be the goal of most US socialists, which are anti-capitalist. They tend to want to tax only high-income earners and restrict business, which hasn't ever worked in the world and leads to poverty among the working class, the exact people they claim to want to help. It's not even straight-up socialism that people are scared of here, but a social democracy. They're just stupid, ignorant, and uneducated. Edit. IDK how my comment is being misconstrued here. Social democracy isn't fucking scary and people WHO think it is are idiots. I hope that clears it up. Fucking Jesus. The collective IQ of Reddit is pitiful. Lingering generational attitudes and trauma from the Cold War.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.